The good news is that interview is not viva voce, right? It's not about some professor asking you a question whereby he knows the answer and you don't know, right? And it's expected of you to only kind of rattle out the right answer. That is not what interview is about. Interview is about interaction. It's an open interaction between two grown-ups. One takes the role of an interviewer and the other person takes the role of a candidate. And both of them have the opportunity to talk openly about what they want to know about each other, not as a person, but with respect to what they're looking for in the person, either for the job role or for any higher level education course in some prestigious university. So as COVID has compelled us in a direction whereby digital interviews have become a norm, digital interviews were a norm in IT sector for a very, very long time. I was associated with IT sector since year 2000. For 20 years, there were innumerous roles for which interviews happened only on the digital platform. Whether it was for voice kind of roles for BPO units or special skill roles in IT sector. I did hundreds of interviews, sitting in India, taking interviews of candidates sitting in Philippines, in Turkey, in Romania, and many other places in the world. And the good part about this is that you can take the interview in the comforts of your house, and you can be candid and open about everything that you know about your profession. The other way is in-person interview, and that's a preferred way for job roles like sales and marketing, whereby a company hires people for their soft skills, and it is incumbent on the interviewer to see the body language of the candidate, also to see how the candidate carries himself in terms of presentation, in terms of his body language, everything. Because that's important. If I am hiring a medical sales rep who is to be presented to a doctor, he represents us. In his personality, the personality of the company is put forth in front of a doctor. So it's important that such interviews happen in person, and not only the skill, but the other body language and soft skills of the person are also assessed thoroughly. So I'm thankful to Mansi because he has talked about the basics of interview, what you should do, what you should not do, etc. One thing that I would like to tell you is that you should be fully aware of your academic journey or the career journey. So if you are looking for a course in a university, you should know thoroughly what academic journey you have followed till date. And you should know it like elevator speech. Why elevator speech? Because that's where you get an important time of say 45 seconds to 1 minute, whereby you have to impress upon the professor or the job interviewer and kind of quickly talk about your academic journey so far or the career journey so far. It doesn't mean that you will rattle it out very, very fast. It doesn't mean then you will make it incomprehensible for the interviewer. It only means that it should be seamless. It should appear authentic. There should not be any artificiality about what you're going to speak, right? And what you describe to the interviewer. That sets the tone actually in the beginning. That sets the tone in the sense that the interviewer settles down, looking at you, looking at your resume, etc. You settle down in the ambience of the place, whether it's a digital platform or the office of the interviewer. And this is just a ice-breaking thing. There is nothing much read about this part, but you should know it like a seamless script. That's what I wanted to share with you. That's what I have seen. If it is broken in the beginning, then the interviewer loses interest right in the beginning, and it becomes very, very difficult for the candidate to kind of recreate that interest in him in the ensuing period of another 35 minutes to 45 minutes that he gets. So that's important. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that it's not a question answer session. It's not a Q&A. It's not that the interviewer has come ready with some questions and he expects you to answer, and basis that he will kind of do a tick box kind of a thing and then assess whether this person is fit for me or not. No, this is not. It is about open-ended questions that the interviewer generally prefers. So one question could be, what are your experiences? Interviewer can kind of say it in any way possible, but the real meaning of it is that you have to talk about the experiences which are relevant to the job, or you have to talk about the experiences which are relevant to the role, or you should talk about the experiences which are relevant to the course that you aspire to take, right? It should not be just any experience that you want to share with your friends or anybody in the first opportunity. It should be relevant. Only a relevant experience counts. You should again be ready how you are going to share this. This is a very, very common question. Believe me, 70% of the times you will get this question in any form of interview, whether it's a college interview or whether it's a job interview. So be prepared for what kind of experiences you're going to share. It could be one experience, it could be two, but more than two would make it like a monologue for you, which will eat away all your time and which will not give you enough opportunity to interact with the interviewer on your part. So be cognizant of kind of slicing the time in your mind so that you make good use of your time through this 45 minutes window that you have got between you and the interviewer. That's important. The other common question at a junior level that is asked is, have you ever handled a difficult situation? So it has got two parts. One, what is a difficult situation? You should know what is a difficult situation, and you should kind of talk about it. A difficult situation could be a business interruption. A difficult situation could be a broken team. A difficult situation could be a difficult client. So depending on what is your experience in a particular field, you should be able to share that difficult situation in a way that is comprehensible to the interviewer. And then the obvious next question would be, how did you handle it? So handling a situation should come out with a tangible solution that won over the client or that kind of eliminated the business disruption for the company. All these are tangible results which can be counted in terms of money. So when you talk about a situation and you talk about how did you handle it, you should also be able to talk about what did it mean for the company in terms of money, in terms of whether it saved a few $100,000 for the company, or it saved the reputation of the company, or it saved the day for the company. You should be very, very sure what you are going to say. So money is the common currency actually. If you say the business disruption lasted only for 24 hours, that doesn't mean anything. So as a case in point, if you talk about Suez Canal fiasco that has happened in which one ship has got stuck, if we say that the ship was released and its bow was released within 5 days, it doesn't mean anything. But if you say that there was $9.6 billion of commerce stuck because of that one ship got stuck, and then a team from US came and then it kind of refloated the vessel, and that saved so many $1 million for the company. That makes an impact statement. So a situation should be difficult. A situation should be such that the interviewer is able to comprehend, and the outcome of the solution should be such that which is tangible and can be explained in monetary terms. That helps